looks like we need another light. There's a light missing. I know there's a light missing.
Lights missing.
Let there be
everywhere.
Light.
Oh snap!
That was perfect.
What? What did I? Was I just like?
No, when I told you to start, it was perfect transition. It faded out. You started talking.
Sweet.
Whoa,
Hey, we might actually start learning about what the heck we're supposed to be doing.
You got this.
Speak for someone.
Okay, so we're learning more, getting better.
Someone is.
Okay. So, good evening out there in the internet.
Good evening. Good evening again.
Again.
Another again.
Yep, it's that time. It's time for Scuba and The Ry and kind of sit down and talk games and movies and stuff.
Everything in between.
Yeah.
But just basically just geeking out.
Geeking out. All right. Before we get too far into it, a couple of quick announcements. Over on our YouTube channel, episode 2 of The Witcher review.
It's up there.
Went up. Also, episode 8 review for Mandalorian is up. And the I think that's an episode 29. Last week's episode of the podcast is up on YouTube as well. So lots of YouTube goodness. So go to YouTube and look and do a search for Scuba and The Ry or Scuba's Studio.
You'll find us there.
Check it out.
Talking and babbling. All that good stuff.
Computer's starting to do weird things. Anyways, yeah. So hey, internet.
The internet, it does whatever it wants sometimes.
Let's see. Any other major announcements? I can't think of any. I think it's been a fairly quiet week overall.
It's a quiet week, even though we started back up. Still pretty quiet.
Well, 2020 and getting into it. I mean, this is episode 30. So we've been doing it. We did this 30 times.
Yeah, the dirty 30. The dirty 30 of some
And they
kind.
still haven't learned.
Not learned anything.
To be fair, the first 15 episodes were strictly recording. I think it wasn't until we got to episode 20 that we started working on the whole streaming thing. And now, episode 30, we kind of get the streaming thing kind of working and kind of going from there.
Oh yeah, we got it going. We got a flow. We got a daily dose of, a weekly dose of something to talk about.
That's true. I mean, still, working bugs out, but that's okay. So made some improvements, made some things. So we'll kind of work our way through that. If you're hanging out in our chat, by all means, thank you. And we'll chat. We'll see what we can do to interact as we go. Let's see. Closed windows. All right. First things first. What's up, everybody?
What has been up? What's been happening, people out there?
So it's
Not the rain.
Huh?
Not the rain.
Oh, the rain's not over yet. Anyway, so
it's been raining way too much.
Yeah. But the weekend was actually pretty good.
Yes, it was very unseasonably warm.
Yes, Saturday was totally weird. I was like mid 70s. Even in the evening, it wasn't terrible. It was great weather.
Very, 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 yeah. Like running out on Saturday in that nice warm weather. Mm-hmm. It was great.
So, what you been up to, Ry? Well, what's your week been like?
Oh, the week has just been, busy ramping up for more training at work. More training, but other than that,
this is that time of year.
I have started prepping for that GRE exam.
Okay.
So I went and did a couple practical, writing assignment, did some verbal stuff. So then I went and picked up a book that could help me along the way. So a GRE prep book. It's pretty thick. It's like that thick, people. But
they gotta make their money with test prep.
Well, it gives you all the different scenarios, verbal, arithmetic, writing samples, so you're just working through it. But I'll probably work more on the writing and the verbal just because the degree I'm aiming for is going to be mostly that. So less on the arithmetic, more on the other half.
But you still got to know some math.
Oh, well, yeah. But it just depends because, they look at different scores because every section's scored differently. So.
Oh, that works. All right. Anything? Any excursions with the girlfriend? Or?
No excursions. Pretty low key. Went to the movies. We did a few other things. I did go out and get my car clean, so that's a plus. And then also my friend's son's birthday. It was over at the Glow Golf over at the Outlets. It was pretty.
Okay.
Fun. So it's mini golf indoors, but everything's glowing.
I think I got one of those nearby here, actually.
Somewhere. I have no idea.
Yeah. I think it's probably near Sunrise. Anyways, yeah. That's always good.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty simple.
Pretty quiet.
Pretty quiet. Other than playoff football.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah.
I have to be a good fan and concede that my team did not do so well, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Next year's another year.
It's always another year, but Packers move on. One step closer to Super Bowl, people. Cheese Nation. Cheese Nation.
All right. Let's see. Well, for me, it was fairly quiet. Well, actually, no. Weekends are always busier now.
Yes, because you're always doing...
Well, that and with Top Shelf having a job, I've got to do the whole, Chauffeur, but you know what? It's kind of one of those things. I kind of got him the job, and where the job is, knowing that it's a bit of a commute, it's like, oh, yeah, well,
Hey, still getting a little bit of experience.
Yeah, but, the cool thing is I also got some time on the airsoft field. That's always a good time, and again, Saturday was just unseasonably warm for January in Virginia.
Yeah, it broke records. It actually did break records.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But Saturday was a good turnout. There was like 280 plus people on the field Saturday, so it was a good day. It was a good day.
Lots of shooting, I assume.
Oh yeah. Gameplay went well. Everything. Just like all the good stuff with that. Sunday just did the Chrono stuff, so I only hung out. I didn't get to get on the field. I was going to stay and play for a little bit in the afternoon, but I got a phone call late Friday night to see about helping out a couple of things at work.
Okay.
Kind of going back to that old job and kind of helping them. So part of the little bit of time I had this weekend, I was looking to try and figure out, how do I do this again? Because by now I'm a couple years removed from support, so not everything is as quick and fast. And of course, we've done a lot of changes, so it's like,
yeah, I guarantee it's probably different than what I used to be when I was there.
Yeah. Because they're not chat and all that. Anyway, but Sunday afternoon, or Sunday evening, we had a holiday party at Ballahack.
Okay.
And that was fun. It was low. It was very, very chill. It was pretty much barbecuing or grilling up some hot dogs and brats.
Okay.
I brought a little thing of chili because what's better than chili dogs?
Nothing really.
Brought some chili and cheese, and we were hanging out. Well, Christopher actually picked up a bunch of Nerf guns.
Okay.
To kind of let us have some fun.
Yeah.
As if we're not around enough of them, but hey, these are cool. These are those like the new Rebel Resistance ones, the ones that have like the little foam balls instead of darts.
Okay.
And we had an absolute blast. Even had one of those Fortnite bazookas.
That's funny.
So it's like walk in, and of course the barn's got this mood lighting of lasers and fog machine. It's like I don't know if I'm at a laser tag place or a rave, but it was really cool. And then of course at first it was just the bazooka was out, and then as everybody kind of got in and started eating and hanging out, chilling, me and Christopher went and broke out two of the other ones. He had this bolt action one,
pew, pew.
And I grabbed a little one. It even had its own little clip.
Yeah.
You could put the little foam balls in. So it was this like racking that. And we kind of snuck out and started laying down, shooting people. And then after everyone got their main course of food in them, all the rest of the Nerf guns got out. And then it was just pandemonium as we're all back and forth shooting Nerf guns at each other. It was absolutely blast. But that was, and then had to leave because had to pick up Top Shelf from work. So it's like, but it was all good.
Yeah.
It was fun and chill, and it was one of the rare times that I cut loose.
Well, yeah.
Because
that doesn't happen very often.
We've hung out enough.
Yeah.
It's like I'm always like that one who's like, okay, in case something goes down, I'm ready. I very, very rarely just cut loose.
Just let it go.
Yeah, this was one of those
go.
rare times I got to do that, and it was absolute fun. So looking forward to it. But I think that's pretty much the major things. Did do a little work on some crafting.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the crafting table, got stuff out, so I'll be doing more crafting here soon. Fairly productive in that regard. So, and that covers my what's up. It's actually kind of short for a change.
Oh yeah.
Or I didn't get sidetracked. That's what it was. I didn't get sidetracked.
Not a lot of sidetracking items. Not a lot of sidetracking items.
All right. Well, I guess with that, we kind of roll into our next thing, which, hey. So, we got the sound
Of the movie kind.
So we'll kind of roll in for those movie reviews, Ry, and we'll just kick this off that way. Our first review on deck is Just Mercy.
Just Mercy. It's a film inspired by true events, and it focuses on Brian Stevenson, who's known as a defense attorney, and it focuses on his early part of his career when he went down to Alabama to start fighting for people on death row in Alabama during the 80s.
Oh, wow.
So, and the main crux of the story focuses on him fighting for Walter McMillan, played by Jamie Foxx, as he was wrongly accused and then placed on death row. So the film is basically focusing on, it is a very cookie cutter standard legal drama.
Okay.
So beat by beat, you kind of have a feeling of how things will go. It's not very predictable, but you have an idea how things will go because of the layers of the case and how many steps Brian Stevenson, played by Michael B. Jordan, has to go through to try to get this man off of death row. What this highlights for me is that it is a very strong with its themes and strong with its message. And its overall message is how the mishandling of the death penalty is with people in power when they pretty much ignore evidence of a case. Because of, we talked about this before when I mentioned the movie to you before, where it's like when you focus on this certain time and certain place in the history of America, you notice that it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter. The legal system only predicates to people who have the hold of power.
Yes.
So,
well, and again, that is also, this is set in this is set in a different time period of the South.
Yeah.
This also shows that, again, looking back, things will look differently.
Yeah.
To us, as at that time, that was how they did business. It isn't right.
Yeah. I mean, even though it was a different time, it's still at the time. It still wasn't right.
Yeah, it's not right.
How the case was handled.
But again, there's so much of that, and again, even it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's, as we talked about, it's a procedural. It's also a period, and again, this kind of it's interesting. I appreciate that it shows someone's determination to change what the quote-unquote system is, and use it the way it's designed to do, not through the influence of those in power.
Oh, yeah.
So, on that respect, I like it. I like the concept of the movie. I like everything. It's just sometimes there are certain aspects where it's like, do we really need to keep beating on this?
See, that's the thing. It doesn't beat a dead horse with trying to be biased one way or the other, because it does, like I said, the whole thematic presence of the film is focused on the death penalty and people on death row. So even though there are people that are wrongly accused, there are some people that are, it's they did do it, so it puts two halves of the whole together. But it also shows how the criminal justice system, it ignores the facts. it ignores facts in a lot of cases.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of history for that.
Yeah.
So, Jamie Foxx
Yeah.
and Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
Talk about a couple of really busy people.
Oh yeah, they're very busy, very they're all over the in a lot of films, but they are two strong actors in this film. Like they give 100% in their roles. They are completely engrossed into characters, and you get to see two contrasting individuals as you watch how they handle this case at every level of the criminal justice system.
Okay. So what are any shortcomings with this, or
the only thing is like I mentioned earlier, it is a typical legal drama, so it's very procedural. It's very by the books. There's a lot of dramatic sequences, long stretches of monologue because it's a case, so you got the defense attorney and the prosecutors debating back and forth.
But there's definitely a character piece.
Yeah, but it's definitely focuses on the character piece and focuses on the criminal justice system, the faults that can be found.
All right. So this one's fairly serious and whatever. So what do we calling this one?
It's a very good movie. It's definitely worth a watch at the film, but 3.5 out of 5. Matinee. Okay. Definitely a fun time.
Definitely a matinee.
Yeah, definitely a matinee.
Alrighty. Well, our next review.
This is another.
This one's gonna be kind of. We went from really, really serious to, in my opinion, really, really corny.
Oh no, you skipped one.
No.
Oh, you did that on purpose?
Yes.
Okay. All right. See, I had it in a different row.
I know.
Okay,
I did. Go. I did too.
See,
but this one.
You flipped the switch on me.
Yeah, I figure you'll understand when we get to it.
Yeah, you'll understand people.
Let's go from a procedural set in what's the time period that No Mercy was? I want to say
Just
70s.
Mercy?
Yeah,
it was set in the 80s.
80s. Yes. Okay. So the 80s, and now we have something a little more modern.
Yeah,
and that's Like a Boss.
Like a Boss is a very basic buddy comedy, and it focuses on two friends, Mel and Mia, played by Rose Byrne and Tiffany Haddish, and they form a makeup company. They started it out of their garage, the family's garage, and they worked their way up to having their own storefront, creating their own makeup line, etc., etc.
Yeah,
and they've
true
been
entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh yeah, they've been best friends for many years. And then where the film's main crux is that they hit a snag and they're dying in debt. So they basically have to turn to this big honcho in the makeup business, Clara Luna, played by Salma Hayek.
Okay.
And from there, that's where the film goes. Like, it's pretty much them battling Clara Luna for positioning of who owns their company, because she has ulterior motives to get a hold of their company.
This is the large corporate takeover.
Yeah, large corporate takeover, but doing it in a way where she's trying to do the divide and conquer routine with it. Because just a little tidbit from the movie, she initially offers 50. She wanted to take control 51% of the company. Then she backtracks and only takes 49%, with the stipulation of certain things. But that plays into the plot and foreshadowing of a lot of events going forward.
Oh, okay.
So
this one I was leery about going to see because it struck me as kind of like Barbershop 2 or Hairdresser or some of those others where it seems very gimmicky.
It strays away from the gimmicky kind of threads of those kind of comedies, but it is a buddy comedy, and it's very much predicated on the relationship between the two girls.
Okay.
And the strength of the film is their relationship, because Tiffany Haddish and Rosa Burns are very great in this movie, and their contrasting individual talents makes them feel like they've been best friends.
Okay.
So
there's good on-screen chemistry for the actors.
Yeah, good chemistry, good camaraderie. They are the thing that makes the film worth watching.
But do they go into a lot of tropes for...
That's what happens with the film, is that even though you have strong actresses in the role, they get handicapped by the script. And it pretty much, the film just goes, just stumbles over itself as Foley-like scenarios. So you got very generic slapstick, a lot of physical humor, and off-the-cuff one-liners. There's a lot of ad-lib in the film because a lot of the side characters are, comedians, so they kind of just let them loose. and it's a hit and miss. Like, some things are funny, and then a lot of stuff isn't. So, but it's not to the point where it like it's mind numbing. It's just what it does is that when things are just very generic, you can see everything going to happen beat by beat, almost down to the scene. Like, you can call scenes out like, okay, this is what this is going to happen. Boom, boom, boom. And that's what happens.
All right, so this is some predictability and a script that really just doesn't have... It has a couple of kernels of really good ideas,
yes,
but then it gets lost in the sea of, okay, how can I get a joke?
Yeah, it pretty much just focuses on the strength of the two main leads. Like,
okay.
If it wasn't for the two main leads, this movie would have been the bottom of the barrel. But because of the two main leads, and this is very much a very standard buddy comedy, so there's still, some fun. This would be a good night for a group of ladies or a group of friends that just like to see like stupid comedies at the theater, but otherwise just leave it for a rental. 2 out of 5.
All right, fair enough. And now for the movie that I'm most excited to talk about.
It caught me off guard.
Well, this is another one of those where this is actually the first one for 2020.
2020, and
where
another,
the two of us
the Scuba
both
and The Ry.
went and saw it.
Scuba and The Ry view.
So, and I've been really excited about watching this one.
You've been telling me a lot. So when I saw it go full release, the first thing is you want to see it?
Yep.
You want to see it?
Done.
Was
there. Good. But yeah, so 1917 is a World War I drama.
Yes.
It's talking about a couple of British soldiers having to cross behind enemy lines to deliver a message to the unit that one of the soldiers' brothers in, to prevent them from launching an attack that has potentially catastrophic failure of loss of life for this unit. And being this is World War One, this is very, very few things actually touch on World War One in cinema that I can remember.
It's there isn't too many films that touch on World War One. The only one that I can remember that stands out in my mind is All Quiet on the Western Front.
Well, there's also War Horse.
War Horse does. Oh yeah, War Horse and parts of Wonder Woman takes place in World War I.
Yes.
So those are the only 3 notables that I know off the top of my head.
And at least within the last 10 years, so to speak. So, but yeah, this one is a really great film. I just can't not say how great it was to see this and see that it was just the story. It doesn't waste a lot of time.
No,
it's literally boom, 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 and just rolls through. And some of the stuff is just like you turn the transitions in the story don't feel very jarring to me. That feels very much as the camera turns and as it comes back, something new is happening.
Oh yeah. The reason for that is because Sam Mendes, who's the director for this movie, he uses a technique that's only been, at least for me, I've only seen a few times on the big screen. It's called the one-shot technique, and where it's a continuous camera angle that focuses on the set of characters, in this place the 2 soldiers, as they deliver the message. So you're watching them, you're like living in the action as they're moving across the trenches, across no man's land, running away from an air bomber diving on them. All the different scenes and scenarios, even when it's very quiet, it's very tense because you really are in the moment.
Because you're right there, as if it's like
it's
standing right
shot.
Next to him. And I love that. I love that. And it's one of those is also, it wasn't very long. It's like the film runtime is under 2 hours, but
it's a rarity for a war movie,
especially this day and age. But for me, it's under 2 hours. But when I got out of the theater, I did not feel like it was under 2 hours.
Yeah,
I felt like it was longer. So that I think that definitely wins better for me as far as in that whole time is relative situation. Because you can go to a really bad film and it's like 2.5 hours, and you're just like, oh god. And then you can go to another one where it's like it's 2.5 hours, but it feels short.
Yeah.
This one is short, but it felt long because you're so invested in watching what happens with the film.
This film is a good example of what I mention all the time, is that pure escape. No matter how long or how short the movie is, like if the film can drag you into their setting or situation, or any kind of drama that unfolds on the screen, time is irrelevant. No matter if it's under 2 hours, 3.5 hours, an hour and a half. It's that the enrapturing of watching the characters move, watching the characters interact, and watching them just deal with all the turmoil and the fortitude of their surroundings that make you just not want to get out of that theater. So, and what I found strong is that with that one-shot technique focused on the two characters, it makes you see, live, and breathe their own human endeavor on fighting every element that comes their way as they try to deliver this message. So it is it tests their strength of duty, self-worth, and fortitude throughout every situation they come across, no matter if it's enemy or ally.
Yes. No, I can agree with that. I also thought some of the action sequences, like being into airsoft and doing airsoft and whatnot, you have a lot. I see a lot of people doing CQB, which is close quarters.
Yeah.
And think about it in today's modern stuff, CQB with like M4s and whatnot. Let's jump back 100 years.
Yeah.
CQB was these long bolt-action rifles. So that whole scene where he's trying to hold the flashlight in one hand, and you could see his arm is all the way stretched out, trying to hold this as he goes, and it just caught my attention. It's like, this is, some of these techniques are old, but they seem so much different because of the equipment at the time.
Yeah. It's like, that is a perfect example of the subtlety of the film. There's that simplicity of just seeing things as is that adds to that that tension, that edge of your seat feeling, because it's unlike typical war movies that you see, from modern war films or even World War II movies. So say
that's what I mean compared to this, because and this is something when I've talked to a few people who are into cinematography as well, and into movies as well. The thing I point out is, or the thing I think about is like when you think of, when I was talking to somebody, it's like wasn't sure who some younger teens could watch it, and wondering how it's like, the language is strong, but the visuals are strong, but they're also subtle. It's not like it's in your face. The other thing, I compared it to Saving Private Ryan. In the sense that Saving Private Ryan's opening sequence is just so massive. Right? And thinking about it, World War II and modern war movies after that, they're so massive because of the amount of vehicles involved. We're talking like the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, that was a couple hundred miles, or maybe not 100 miles, but it was large. Because it was this whole run along this border for this, whereas World War One and up until because World War One is kind of where the things transition to the modern, because that's where the tank was introduced. Machine gun, a lot of machine guns aren't necessarily new, but air warfare, the mechanical warfare of tanks and trucks and jeeps. Before that, it was horseback and whatever. So the fields were different sizes. And World War I's main thing was all that trench warfare, which one of the best things I love about that film is the fact you really are in the trench. It isn't kind of, here's the overshot glossing over. It's no, I'm walking through it. I'm seeing the people along the side. You can see the moisture and where things like trench foot come from. And seeing that bit, and then realizing that their battlefields were not very big. Comparatively. We're talking, a few miles, and no man's land was like a couple football fields. And it's like, that's how they conducted the warfare. So it felt, it's really the way the film is shot, and the way the story is told, knowing that, okay, this is a much smaller area, so we keep a tighter shot. It probably would be really kind of disconcerting if we have these broad shots of the characters, and then giving away that, okay, this is not a very big area we're talking about. I mean, literally, it's over the course of a day.
Oh yeah, and that's why the continuous shot played well with the type of war and warfare that World War One has, because you get to see a good contrasting going back to like modern war films or even World War Two. It gives you a good contrasting feel to how war was fought, and that war when compared to like World War Two, where it's very just lots of stuff going on, lots of explosion bombs, or even modern wars in like the Middle East, or even films like Black Hawk Down, where it's close quarters combat.
Yeah, the close quarters, the insurgency.
But, the great thing about this is that people will see an appreciation of the human element within war, and a lot of my favorite war films focuses on that aspect, and that's what brings this movie up a higher notch, because even when the two main characters, Lance Corporal Blake and Schofield, even when they interact with certain individuals just for a split second, you feel that connection right away. Mm-hmm. Even in the climax.
And the cast.
Yes.
Since you kind of led us into that, the cast for this film. Wow.
Yeah, it's a who's in British acting.
Oh yeah, so many people in there, and it's just, and the parts that they're in there for are very impactful.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
it's just straight notch. They played the character that is needed to be played, but it's beyond the archetype, because you feel that human interaction, even like a split second, like when they're just like when the one guy's right in the back of the truck just having a conversation, you feel that conversation. Mm-hmm. You feel them trying to push the truck out of the mud, dodging the airplane falling out of the sky. You feel every little inch that they have to go to get that message across.
Yes. So what do you call? What's the Ry review called?
Ry review. This is a very different kind of war movie. If you are expecting certain things like Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, etc. Even We Are Soldiers, but even though in that indifference, the subtlety and the human element gives you a different aspect of what war is. Mm-hmm. And this just being very predicated on the mission, it doesn't try to be too much of a fluff piece. It's just, this is the mission, get it done. Mm-hmm. And that combination of very simplistic storytelling with that human nature and the one-shot technique, it's a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's an award-worthy film, and it's probably one of my favorite war movies in quite some time. So I need to go back and look at my top 10 war list and kind of reshuffle.
Yeah, well, wait till after Oscars for that.
Oh, yeah.
But me, I'm actually for me, it's gonna be a 5 in my book. Okay. Because one of the things when I talk about praising this is the fact that you see in a lot of films there are moments where there's a wasted shot.
Yeah.
There's some shot somewhere that feels wasted. It detracts you from the story. It detracts you from the moment. This film did not have a single wasted shot to me. It felt every shot was on point. It didn't detract from the story. Every shot added to the story. Even in a subtle way. Yeah. There was something that brought you in, that there was a reason it focused. Whereas, again, no wasted shot. So for me, it's a 5 out of 5 because it's one of the best ones I've seen. Yeah. Regardless of the war movie, sci-fi movie, whatever. It has all of those elements. So I totally was not aware of the time that had passed. I was completely engrossed in the film. I didn't lose anything, because some movies you can watch where it's like, okay, and then they do something and you're like, oh, geez, really? It's like, really? And then there are ones where it's like, what? This one, it felt very, very clean on that. So,
it was very tight and focused.
Yeah, totally, definitely. If you get the chance, especially if you can go check it out in the Dolby Theater or a good sound system.
Dolby or IMAX, one of those big ones.
Yeah, if you can get some kind of surround sound immersion for this film, totally worth the price.
Oh yeah, totally worth it. Totally worth it. So that probably would have been. This is another one of those films where it was a 19 release that just missed my top 10.
Well, and it was a limited release in 19, so there's only so much you can go with that.
I am certain if I saw this last year, it would be somewhere in that top 10.
All
Probably
right.
in the top 3.
All right, now that we've done the reviews, we got a little news.
Little news.
We're not. I don't think we're gonna go through all these, but I think definitely can go through the first 4 for sure.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Up to E. So A, B, C, D.
A through D.
Okay, I agree.
All right. So here's some movie TV news.
Okay.
First up, it's a movie one, and that is some info on the latest Bond film, Bond 25. Hans Zimmer is confirmed as composer for that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm truly happy with this.
Oh, yeah. This is, if you don't know Hans Zimmer, he's the go-to for a lot of Christopher Nolan's films. Mm-hmm. So he did the Dark Knight trilogy, he did Inception, and he did quite a few other films back in the day, too. So he's one of those big...
I believe he did the original Men in Black score.
Yeah, I believe so.
But yeah, he was a great composer, really kind of iconic stuff. So I'm just kind of cool for that. Excuse me. So our next one is a bit of news, and that is the fact that Star Trek Picard has already been renewed for a season 2.
Yes.
Season 1 hadn't even come out yet. It comes out on the 23rd, and it's already been... It seems like this has got to be a really good show.
Yeah. And as quoted by McNair, Executive Vice President of Original Content at CBS, it says, "We're thrilled to announce plans for a second season before the series debuts, and we are confident that Star Trek fans and new viewers alike will be captured by the stellar cast and creative teams meticulously craft a story when it premieres January 23rd.
Have you seen the latest trailer for it?
I was melting in my arms because I was like, it looks like it's going to do a good combination of character and sci-fi.
And bringing in all the the latest promo has Riker in it.
Oh yeah, it makes me want to.
And you see 7 of 9, and you see 7 of 9 getting it on with a couple of phasers. So it's like, oh, this would be good.
Maybe this could be our next show.
Yeah, could be.
I might have to get a subscription.
You're not the only one.
That makes 2.
Alrighty, so our next one is HBO's Westworld. Season 3 has a premiere date.
It does have a premiere date.
When's that premiere date? Do you know?
Reported on IGN, it will be March 15th, 2020. So this year, just a couple months away.
That's a lot faster turnaround than the last time.
Oh yeah, and it's in the prime slot at 9 p.m. on Sundays because that's where the big shows drop.
That's where Game of Thrones was sitting for the longest time.
This show is one of my favorites on HBO. There's a lot of my favorite TV shows are on HBO. I'm pretty biased with HBO. I'm sorry guys, but they have great shows. But Westworld is one of those that it's not. I'm going to say it is not for everybody, but
there are definitely flaws in it, but it is a very interesting story.
It's one of those hard thinking shows. So if you don't want to think too hard, I'd steer away from it. But people that love sci-fi, love that mythos of, man and machine and a lot of other different things. It's definitely for you.
Yeah, definitely check that out. All right. And next one, we have a bit of casting news reveal. Dun, dun, dun.
Revelations.
And that is Amazon has revealed the cast for their Lord of the Rings series.
Oh, yeah. And it's a who's who names of people that you may or may not know.
Oh, really? Anybody really notable?
A lot of the characters are from actually the Game of Thrones series.
Oh.
Like the guy that played Uncle Benjen.
Oh.
Benjen is one of them. So
okay.
A lot of them are British actors and actresses, which makes sense.
Definitely have to go check that out.
But
link will be in the show notes, by the way.
Production begins in February.
Oh, nice. So. All right, and so to kind of keep it rolling here, we'll kind of leave y'all to check out the show notes for the other 3 stories in this list.
Interesting stories for y'all.
Alrighty. And with that, we will move into... Alrighty, State of Game. For those of y'all who are just tuning in or are going to check this out, State of Game is where we talk about the various games we are playing, whether they be tabletop, airsoft, video game, or other.
Everything in between.
Alright, and as usual, we always start off with the digital stuff. Let's start off with video games.
It's usually the one I only dabble into, so yeah.
Yeah. So, video games, what you been playing?
Same thing. I jumped between Borderlands and Outer Worlds. I've gotten a little
How's the story progressing, man?
Outer Worlds is...
I mean, everybody's got their own unique take on a playthrough. So, I mean, how's your story going?
Oh, my story is going pretty well. It's like when I go from planet... I've been going exploring other planets and other things, and I'm more of a completionist. So when I go to a planet, I want to look at everything. So the new planet that I'm on, Monarch, I finally got to the town, and now I'm just talking to people, picking up quests and stuff, and probably going to get myself into trouble, but I'll shoot my way out of it.
That's why it's the Outer Worlds.
Oh, yeah. And other than that, I kind of dabbled in a little bit of Pokemon Go on my phone. And I noticed there's a lot of changes in there that I didn't notice before. You get to fight Team Rocket.
Team Rocket is a thing. You also get your buddy you can actually
Oh,
play with and give him treats. I haven't really played it much.
No,
I just kind of log in every so often to collect my stuff, and I got to the point it's like I can't hit Pokestops because I have so many of the Pokeballs because I'm on average about 46 kilometers a week.
Yeah.
For that step tracking, and it's like a little hard to spend that when I don't have a lot of time to go gym battling.
So, but yeah, just those two major games, just jumping between Borderlands 3 and Outer Worlds. I did download GTA 5 because it's on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass, people. Download it.
For my Game Pass, I downloaded Sword Art Online to Fatal Bullet.
Oh yeah, I have 2 of the games on PS4. I don't know if it's that one that I have.
So, I figured I'd check it out. I mean, I like SAO.
Oh, yeah.
Love or hate the story. It's an interesting
The
game.
RPG games are fun. They're straightforward, but I was thinking, Cyberpunk comes out this month. I need a game to check out for these months. I was like, let's throw GTA 5 in there, maybe.
And with that, I actually did play some video games.
Oh, some.
So, Raz and Penumbra hit me up Sunday night and was asking, hey, are you free for some Halo? And I'm like, got a Nerf gun in my hand and a barbecue. It's like, no, I'm not available right now. And then yesterday I was like, well, when is the next time you guys want to throw down? And they're like, let's do it tonight. So last night for a couple hours, we played Halo 5.
That's good.
3-man co-op. It's like, DMRs are fun.
Next time you do it, let me join in, because I think you can do 4-player, right?
I believe so, yes, because there's 4 people on the squad.
Okay, I do have it.
Yes.
Don't forget me.
I won't. I may hit you up for another playthrough just so because I want to hit that legendary playthrough on.
You heard
all
this
of them.
first. Halo 5.
So.
On what?
Xbox. I think I have access to the PC version as well, but.
I don't play on PC, but I can watch.
PC Master Race.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Halo Master Chief Collection's on PC, so.
That's cool.
And if you got Game Pass, you got that too.
I'll stick to my consoles.
That's
and
fine.
my 65-inch. Skadoosh.
All right. I don't have any D&D news, unfortunately. It's been quiet on the D&D front. However, Agents of Short should be meeting this Sunday. Actually, no, not Agents of Short. The Airsoft crew is meeting on Sunday, and we're gonna Penumbra. I believe Penumbra is gonna join us.
Awesome. That should be a lot of fun.
Looking forward to it. They're traveling down to Luskin from Neverwinter.
Is this the story where the guy has his own bar?
Yeah, he just got the bar and
Okay.
he took a were-tiger and stuffed it in a bag and turned it into a gargoyle. So this will be picking up the morning after that with statue and all that.
So a good old jolly time.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me.
Yawn, people.
Yeah. Airsoft side, Saturday gameplay. Attack and defend from Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Your attackers have an HVT with this gray case. He has to get to the top of the tower for 5 minutes, and then he's got to go to the halfback bunker for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Defenders, of course, are trying to stop him. This game rolls, and it's like I'm in the town observing from the town side, and it's getting pretty intense. I mean, 280 some odd players.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big day.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Especially when you roughly split it 2/3 attack to a third defend, or kind of a 50-50 split, I think is what we ended up doing. Well, they decided to literally tape the case to the HVT. So picture one of those gray hard plastic toolboxes, the kind with a handle that would hold like a framing gun or something like that. Took that and with duct tape taped it to the back of the guy who volunteered to be the HVT. And they started in the LZ, and they had to move into the town to get to the third floor. The defenders pretty much got in, set their lines, and was holding back the attackers. Yeah. Held them back so well that at 20 minutes before the end of the game, that's when the HVT finally started making his entrance into the tower. Now, they're going back and forth, right? And I'm at some point, I'm calling over there. I was like, has anybody got eyes on this HVT? I was like, where is he? So I'm hearing back, he's over here. I think he moved over there. And it's like, all right, I'm waiting. Finally, I see him. It's like, I got eyes on him. He's about to go in the tower. So get up in the tower, and then 5-minute timer. That left him roughly 15 minutes to get to the halfback. And it was just so insane trying to push to where he never got there. Do not believe he got there with enough time for the timer to go off. And then for the scenario game in the afternoon, there was you had your two teams, and they had to hold the East Swamp Pipeline, the Barrier Woods Pipeline, and the Cannibal Village Pipeline. Okay. Right? You got you got the team. One team pushed up and took control of all three, and locked the other team out of getting anywhere near them. I mean, it was just insane. It's like not even halfway into this game, and their line stretches all the way across the field. There is no penetration to take control of any of the pipelines. Yeah. So it was a very, very uncontested victory. But 280 players on the field. It was a great time.
It's a lot of people, but a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, the best thing is seeing the new players come out on the field and interacting with players and keeping these conversations up. Some new players, old players. Yeah. It was good times. Having grenades go off around me is always fun too.
Skadoosh. People skadoosh.
After that, went out with one of the teams and had dinner at Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
So I got to chill and hang out, and then of course Sunday did the barbecue thing. But that's pretty much on the state of game. Now for some gaming news.
There's some news out there.
And I think I've got a couple of video game things here, and then I got a D&D thing. Because D&D is my life.
It is your life.
I try.
Dice
first
rolls.
One is a game you were really excited about from E3 last year.
Oh yeah, I'm very
excited. And that
excited
is the Marvel Avengers game. Has been delayed.
Yeah, it has been delayed. It was supposed to be coming out around in the springtime, but it's been pushed to September 4th. So, it's fine.
More anticipation.
But the thing is that when games are delayed compared to when films are delayed, it's a better thing.
Yes. Let's see. Resident Evil 4 is having its 15th anniversary this year.
Yes, it is celebrating 15 years, and I sent you this one because 15 years is one of those anniversaries that you celebrate. But number 2, Resident Evil 4 is a very groundbreaking game in the series.
Yes,
and
I believe it was fully voiced.
Yes, it was fully voiced.
This is Matt Mercer donning the role of Leon Kennedy.
Yeah. And the thing is, this is when they kind of blended in. The games before, they were all horror based. This was the first one where it introduced a lot more action elements.
Okay.
So it was a fusion of both, and it created an experience like no other for the series, for the game, and for shooting games as a whole.
Okay.
It is by far one of my. Let me rephrase this. This is in my Mount Rushmore of games.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite games I've ever played in my gaming life. I love this game.
And speaking of that, let's see. We have news that Final Fantasy VII has been delayed a month.
Just a month. Not the full length like Marvel, but...
Seriously, though. I mean, that's a lot of people looking forward to that. And you just said, oh, you thought you were getting it in March. Well, now you're going to get it in April.
Oh, yeah. So instead of March 3rd, April 10th. So just a couple more weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can wait, people. You waited this long.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll be fine. And here's a bit of D&D news. Hot off the press. Came out yesterday.
Skadoosh.
And that is, if you are a fan of Critical Role, Campaign 2.
This guy right here.
Yes.
This guy.
Critical Role. They D&D has announced that there is going to be an Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, which is the area of the world that Critical Role Campaign 2 takes place in.
Okay.
So, Mr. Mercer, congratulations, good sir.
Congratulations.
Another fine book coming out that you've had your hands in.
You gonna get this book?
I haven't got the first campaign one, which is Tal'Dorei.
Okay.
But I'm definitely gonna this one, because of their partnership and the D&D Beyond sponsors has been sponsoring Critical Role for pretty much all of campaign 2.
Yeah.
This book will also will be available through D&D Beyond.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So definitely excited about checking that out. They announced it yesterday. All the Twitter buzz and everybody was like so excited, and I can't wait to read this and see what stuff's come up from this book. And with that, that's our gaming news and our state of game. So let's see, where are we at? Let's see. I guess we could look at that, checking the time, checking the chat. There we go. Checking the time, checking the chats. Well, kind of go into. Let's do our big topic piece, and we'll kind of end it for there because we don't want to run all night.
That's fine.
All right. So, bit of news that came out.
Oh yeah.
I'll play the news thing for that.
Yeah.
Play the news. Oh, where'd my... Oh, yeah, there. Yeah. Wake up!
Wake up, Saladin, wake up.
Wake up! Hearing the playback like that is weird. All right, so it is that time of year again for the little gold statue to start being passed around.
Yeah, so the nominations for this 2020 Oscars were released yesterday.
Ooh.
So we do have a full list of everything, but I think we should just hit the big boys.
Yeah, let's hit the big ones. I mean, what's the category that you love most?
Well, the main categories I love most, they have it right down the line for me. So it goes Best Picture. Best Picture is pretty much the overall. Like, these are the films that the film community as a whole have supported as the best pictures for the year of 2019. And looking at the list, I'm pretty spot on. I'm pretty spot on every year. You've always said whenever you looked at my top 10 list, it's pretty much almost.
Well, even more than
close.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple here that I know we have not talked about.
Yeah.
But every one of these Best Pictures nominations, we have done some kind of movie review for.
Some kind of movie review or talked about it in passing.
Yes.
So
let's roll through that. First up, we have Ford vs. Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
yeah.
The only ones that we haven't done reviews on are Jojo Rabbit and Parasite.
Yeah.
We've done. You've gone and seen virtually every one of these other ones and
Yes.
done the review, and they've all been fairly good reviews.
Oh yeah. So when I saw the list, I was happy when I saw Ford vs. Ry on this list because I know it was my number one movie of last year, but just the recognition that it got just supports how amazing that movie is. So, and the two movies that I haven't gotten to see, the only reason I haven't gotten to see it because there's always films that just fall through the cracks because I just haven't had time to get to it, and that would be Jojo Rabbit and Parasite. But the good thing is that AMC does a re-release of all the best pictures, so I'll probably have a chance to see those two in theaters.
Maybe.
And just looking at the list, it showcases a few things. One, it showcases the variety and how the selection for Best Picture has improved over the years. And two, it shows the strength of films beyond the theater.
Yeah.
Because...
Well, all right. I agree with that, but
Yeah.
let me get your opinion on which one is going to take Best Picture.
Okay. Just
'Cause-
based on the rumblings through the movie circuit, you know. all the-
Yours, not the rumblings of the
Okay.
movie circuit. You.
My number one movie of last year is Ford vs. Ry.
Okay.
With that said, when I'm looking at this list, I think 1917 is going to take the Best Picture, just because it is one of those films that when you get Best Picture, you're representing some kind of true value entertainment. So when you look at the films that have gotten Best Picture, you know, even if it's not been my pick or been on my list, I've never said that it didn't deserve.
Okay.
Anything that gets nominated deserves to win, but what the ones that truly win, minus maybe a few years where it kind of, you know, went the wrong way, like when Saving Private Ryan should have won, but I'm not going to get in that. But 1917 is the one I think is going to win.
All right.
I think looking
Next
at this
category, we have Best Director, The Irishman for Martin Scorsese, Joker with Todd Phillips, 1917 Sam Mendes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Quentin Tarantino, Parasite Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, right there. Irishman, Joker, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, I think it's a neck and neck. This one, I think it. The only thing I would probably swapped out. This is just for me, and I can say it because I saw both movies. Is I would have swapped out Greta Gerwig for Little Women out of Joker. I would swap those two. I would put her in that slot for instead of Todd Phillips.
Okay.
Because I think the reason is because I think the film Joker is all predicated on the acting of Joaquin Phoenix.
Okay.
So,
All right. Next up, we have Best Actor.
okay.
Antonio Banderas, Pain and Glory. Leonardo DiCaprio, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Adam Driver, Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix, Joker. And Jonathan Pryce, The Two Popes. I mean, again, pretty much all of these you've done reviews on. I don't think we talked about Pain and Glory though.
Yeah, that one was that was an indie film, but there's indie films and then there's really small indie films, and it's in this bottom half where you would have missed it by the time you saw it in the theater. So you're like, oh, it's there. Oh wait, bye. Okay.
All right.
This is Joaquin Phoenix to win. There's no hands down. No one's got a chance.
All right. Best Actress. Cynthia Varro from Harriet. Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story. Saoirse Ronan, Little Women. Charlize Theron, Bombshell. Renee Zellweger, Judy.
I personally would pick Scarlett Johansson, but I think Renee Zellweger is going to win it. From the scenes I've seen her play Judy Garland and Judy, like she is completely engrossed in that role.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Here we go. Next up, we have Best Adapted Screenplay. The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and The Two Popes.
This one, I don't really know. This one is a toss-up.
Well, we'll see. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, several of these we've seen, and some of these, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Best Original Screenplay, Knives Out, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
See, you're pulling at my heartstrings when I'm looking at this list.
I'm gonna go Knives Out on this one.
I think Hollywood loves QT, so he might win, but Dark Horse is Knives Out because that movie was phenomenally written. So
yeah, I think Knives Out.
I'm shooting for Knives Out.
All right, Best Supporting Actor: Tom Hanks, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood; Anthony Hopkins, The Two Popes; Al Pacino, The Irishman; Joe Pesci, The Irishman; Brad Pitt, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Wow.
Yeah, you do see sometimes two out of the same movie happen.
Fine,
that
though.
happens sometimes.
It's fine.
But looking at this list, I think it's Brad Pitt's to lose.
He's gonna lose.
No, it's Brad Pitt. Like he's gonna win, but it's him. If he loses, it's just because it's a dark horse.
Him versus Tom Hanks.
It's because I saw all these movies, so this is the one category where I saw all 5.
Okay.
So
or all the nominations.
All the nominations. So it's Brad Pitt's. Tom Hanks is the dark horse.
Okay. All right. Best Supporting Actress: Kathy Bates, Richard Jewell; Laura Dern, A Marriage Story; Scarlett Johansson, Jojo Rabbit; Florence Poe, Little Women; Margot Robbie, Bombshell.
I would go with Laura Dern just because she is just evil as the lawyer in that movie.
Oh, really?
Because when I talked about the movie and how I said the lawyers messed up that divorce, she's one of the reasons.
All right, let's see. Best Original Song: I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4. I'm Gonna Love Me Again from Rocket Man. I'm Standing With You from Breakthrough. Into the Unknown, Frozen 2. Stand Up from Harriet. That's the Into the Unknown won the Golden Globe for Best Original.
It's between that one and the Toy Story.
Pretty sure. You got, Disney. Let's see, Best Animated Feature: How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World. Yeah. I Lost My Body, Claws, Missing Link, and Toy Story 4. Ooh. Yeah, I think that might be Toy Story, even though I'm personally pulling for How to Train Your Dragon.
I'm picking Toy Story 4. But I appreciate that they put Klaus on here, which is one that's on Netflix and one that's getting a lot of praise.
There's a lot of There's a lot. The Two Popes, The Irishman, that one you just mentioned, Marriage Story. There's a lot of stuff. Netflix has really kind of gambled well with that.
Oh yeah. So it just goes to show how strong streaming films that are the movies that come from streaming do have a presence now.
Yes. All right. So, Best Original Score: Joker, Little Women, Marriage Story, 1917, Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Well, John Williams. You're kind of expecting that.
Yeah.
He's like royalty.
If there was a great part of that movie, it would be the score. But looking at this list, it's going to be 1917.
I think I'm about to go with that one. Best International Feature Film: Corpus Christi from Poland, Honeyland from New Macedonia, Les Miserables from France, Pain and Glory from Spain, Parasite from South Korea.
The bottom two I really want to see, but I think it's going to go to Parasite. So.
I think so. Well, yeah, because I've heard a lot of my morning roundup has got that talking about a U.S. adaptation of the film.
Yeah.
All right. Best Cinematography. Here we go. The Irishman, Joker, The Lighthouse, 1917, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
1917, hands down, no question.
Yep. Lighthouse looked like it had really good cinematics too. All right. Best Costume Design: The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I would go with Little Women.
Okay. Best Sound Editing: Ford vs. Ferrari, Joker, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. 1917.
I'd go Ford vs. Ferrari.
Okay.
When it comes to sound editing, Ford versus Ferrari.
All right, we'll definitely have to check out after the Oscars to follow up to see how much we were right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Best sound mixing. Ad Astra. That came out of nowhere. Ford vs. Ferrari. Joker. 1917. And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Sound mixing, I would say 1917.
Go with that. Best makeup and hairstyling. Bombshell. Joker. Judy. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil, in 1917. You know what? I really kind of want to give it to 1917 because there are moments where that makeup really kind of sells it for what happens to people.
I'm going to give it to 1917.
Okay. Best live action short. Brotherhood, Nefta Football Club, The Neighbor's Window, Saria, and A Sister. This one's weird.
Live action shorts, I don't really... I'll do a pass because I haven't seen any of those.
I didn't remember them. Best animated short. Daughter, Hair Love, Kit Bull, Memorable, and Sister.
I don't remember anything.
Where do you find these?
They animated shorts. They probably you can find on YouTube or some film network. But yeah.
Well, no. Best visual effects. Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, The Lion King, 1917, and Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
It's going to come down between two movies in here.
I think it's going to be a fight between Endgame and 1917.
I actually thought The Lion King, not 1917, visual effects. But that's a good one too. But I think it's going to go to Endgame.
Yeah.
Just because of that whole third act.
Yes, very much. Let's see. Best film editing. Ford vs. Ferrari. The Irishman. Jojo Rabbit. Joker, and Parasite.
I can tell you why 1917 probably was omitted from this list is because of the technique they used. But if I'm looking at this film editing, I'm going with Ford versus Ferrari.
Alrighty. Let's see. Best production design. The Irishman. Jojo Rabbit. 1917. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. I swear, I think I've read that list like 5 times.
Yeah, there's a lot of films that the
like
Academies love.
Very few categories that Joker is not a part of.
Yeah.
Joker or The Irishman or 1917 or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Well, we know what the Academies love this year, but 1917, no question.
All right, best documentary short. In the Absence, Learning to Skateboard in Warzone, If You're a Girl, Life Overtakes Me, St. Louis Superman, and Walk, Run, Cha-Cha.
I love documentaries, so it makes me want... Whenever I see the documentaries, I always add them to my watch list because I definitely love watching documentaries.
Best documentary feature, The American Factory, The Cave, The Edge of Democracy, For Sama, and Honeyland.
I'm not sure of this list, but I will add them to my list because I love documentaries. So
I'd say it's worth checking it out.
So, but when you speak about the certain movies that you keep seeing the names a lot, Joker got 11 nominations. Joker got 11 nominations. So it's Joker and Irishman that lead the nominations. So
alrighty, well, that's we'll kind of end that there. Let y'all kind of soak that in, and we'll do our contact info and credits, and transition over, and we'll talk odds and ends on the Patreon channel this week.
Oh, there is. If you wanted to get a subscription Patreon, wait till you hear one of these stories. Just go ahead and do it right now.
Tease that out there right now. Alrighty.
Foreshadowing.
So, we'll kick this off with a big shout out and a thank you to Syrinscape for the background music that you're hearing throughout our conversation and various different sound bites. Like that one. With that, also shout out to everyone who has commented and given us their feedback on the show. Shout out to the chat room for hanging out with us. You can find me at There. You can find me at ScubaCod in Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, all those fun places. You can find Ry Guy at
Incubus Trav and Instagram. Like, share, send a friend request.
Alrighty. You can follow the studio at facebook.com/scubastudio. There you can check out discussions on various show pages, and as well as be informed on different things we're posting. If you like the show and want to support the show, or want to find out what Ry's talking about with our odds and ends that we didn't get to this week, you can go to patreon.com/scubastudio. Check it out there. If you're a Patreon member, you get early access to all of our content before it's released to the public, as well as some tidbits and info on future projects we're working on. You can also email the studio at scubastudio@gmail.com. Give us a shout, feedback, suggestions, all that good stuff. We also have a Discord. So we've got a Scuba Studio Discord, and if you're a Patreon member, you can listen in and interact with us in our weekly chat where we just talk to just Patreon members. And of course, contributors and friends of the show. And I think that's... Yeah, I went through the list. I didn't stumble that much this time either.
You got it.
I know.
Walking the tightrope straight.
Alright, so... anything else? Any tidbits? No, it looks like we're good. Oh yeah, and a shout out to Audionautix for those segment intros. Finally got those going. And with that, y'all have a good night. Stand by while we switch over for our Patreon chat.
Peace.